Hey guys, this is SMK here today. I'm about to tell you a story of what happened to me and my friend Jaden last year. So last year, me and Jaden, we were just up pretty late. First time we had a sleepover at my house, and it kind of took a turn, you could say that. And pretty late at night, it was like 12 o'clock at midnight, we decided to go to this abandoned house. I mean, we weren't like recording it. We decided to just do it for fun to see what we could possibly find. And that night, I regret it a lot. So, as soon as we got there, we have these flashlights, which was a terrible idea. We should have just went there in the dark, because I wouldn't mind it. Because my pupils can see a lot in the dark. I can see a lot. And when we had flashlights on, I was in the house. Like, I was fully in. Jane was just getting in. And then he got caught by this random guy. Like, outside the house. Because we came in from the back door, which didn't have stairs. So we had to climb to the door. And when we did that, like, that guy must have thought that Jane was all alone. Like, he grabbed him and he said, "Hi," and I heard it, and then it was like he changed like his whole entire persona or something, and he was like, "What are you guys doing in here?" And I was like, why do you have your hand around my friend's arm?" And then he just like says, "You better get out of here because I'm security and I will kick you guys out." And I was like, "Okay, I see that your shirt says security, but where's your like name tag? Where's like an ID that shows proof to this?" And it was like, "You do not have authority to tell me what I need to have," which doesn't make sense to me. And we kind of just walked away, and we were like, so this is what happened. We were like walking away. He decides to turn off his light. And when I heard that his light turned off, because he had a light as well, he had like a lantern. And when I turned around, he hid behind the shit. And I was like, "Jaden." Like, I whispered to him and I said, "Jaden, let's just walk to the library. This guy is obviously a kidnapper. And he's obviously homeless because there's like no name tag or anything." And he was like wearing this blue shirt. He had a beard. And he had like a scar around his forehead. Like he got scratched by a cat or a wild animal or something. Which there probably was a wild animal in that house. It probably was a squirrel or something. So I whispered to Jane saying, "Jane, we need to walk to the library." And me and him do like the speed walk. Like, I don't tell him why, which was the stupidest idea ever. And when we got to the library, we sprint through like other houses trying to make sure we weren't followed. Like, we walked past my house, because that's where the sleepover was. We went all the way to this library, which took forever. Now, this wasn't like the town's library. This was like an outside the actual town part. But it had like, streets and stuff and sidewalks. So it technically wasn't the town. But when we got to the library, we sprinted through like yards and stuff, making sure we weren't followed. And when we got home, I was so relieved. And I still kind of remember his face. I just know he had a scar on his forehead. He had a hat on, which didn't really cover up the scratch because it was a tiny hat. Like, he had like some kind of kid's hat, which was kind of creepy. Not gonna lie. And he was like wearing this blue shirt that said security on the front, which doesn't make sense because usually security shirts slash jackets have it on the back. So he probably was wearing that wrong, or tried to look like he was an actual security guy. But he clearly wasn't. He was like a homeless man living there. And here's how I can tell he's a homeless man to this day. Like, the first time I met him, I already knew he was a kidnapper. And this is how I knew he was homeless. Because to this day, I'm seeing lights in that house, and it's abandoned. Like, at night, there would just like be like 2 lights in there. But that's it. And then in the morning, there's like no lights. So that guy was obviously like homeless. And I don't know what his intentions was if I wasn't there and Jane was alone. But it was kind of my idea, so he probably wouldn't have went. So But if Jaden and me were kind of split it up, like I was waiting for him to come inside. So, which is a good smart thing, because if I didn't, I probably would have lost him, and his parents would have got pissed at me because his son got kidnapped. And I wouldn't know how to explain that to his parents. I knew his brother and sister would be happy because he kind of has terrible siblings. Like, they don't like him for some reason. But yeah, no, never go to abandoned houses because you don't know what you could possibly find in those houses. Because I found a homeless kidnapper apparently, and I bet he's still living there because I see lights in that house at night sometimes. Like I would just spy at the house and there's like lights on. And sometimes they would turn off when they would hear like a kid running outside, which is even more creepy, even though no kids have disappeared in my neighborhood, so that's kind of good. So yeah, this is a story on how you should never go to abandoned places, and how if I split it up from my friend, he probably would have got kidnapped. He probably would have got muffled if he screamed my name, so I'm kind of glad I didn't split up to him. Like, it was like the backyard that went to the kitchen, which is kind of strange. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.